Well, hello again, everyone. I'm going to catch you up a little bit on some of the things that happened in the recently past month of March. March that for many of us seemed like it was just never going to end. Here in Illinois, here in Wheaton at our Alcott headquarters, we have had more snow during this month than we had during the entire rest of the year. Uh, it has been a day of 30 degrees. If you got 30, you were quite happy. So it's something where now it's the beginning of April, it's a bright sunny day. The robins have come back. Temperatures seem to be normalizing. So at the moment, it seems as if all is well with the world. And we'll continue that way. At least we're going to take that. We're going to take that approach to it. So anyway, this month we have a few things to talk to you about. Probably we'll start off with one of our youngest staff member was recently nominated as one of the top professionals in the Wheaton area. This was by the Wheaton Chamber of Commerce. So that's Patrick Leyden, who works in our IT department, and who is really quite a whiz. I mean, he's a wonderful, wonderful fellow to have around and so knowledgeable to be so young. So anyway, a bunch of us put on our glad rags, our good clothes, and went over to this dinner that was attended by probably about 500 people, businesses and not-for-profits here in the area, to celebrate Patrick. I have to say that when we clean up a little bit, we don't look half bad. So you'll get a chance to judge for yourself. If you think otherwise, keep it to yourself. But we're willing to believe that we were looking good that night. So just a couple of the good-looking people. Chris Bolger, head of IT, Patrick Leyden in the middle, and James Lefevre, our IT department. And here you have them joined by Juliana Cesano Bolger, who is obviously the one in the red. And this is me, my wife Lily, and our chief financial officer, Augie Hurt. All came out to celebrate Patrick, whose face was flashed on the screen. Looked better than any post office picture you could imagine. Good day. A little later on in the month, our kids, which you've heard me talk about the Prairie School of DuPage, which has been using the space here for their school for the last almost 2 years now. Anyway, the kids had gotten in touch with me to say that they wanted to schedule an appointment to come to my office to talk, which is, quite an adult approach to things. But they didn't say exactly what it was that they wanted to talk to me about. But I had heard through the grapevine that they wanted to talk to me about planting a garden. Those of you who have been here know that we do have a number of gardens around the area, but they wanted to plant one right outside the front door to this building, which is adjoining to the front door to the wing of the building they occupy with their school. So anyway, all of the kids came. There are 8 kids in the school right now. It's going to be expanding as the next year goes on. All of them came and gave their presentation, which I have to say was really, really remarkable. They came in waves of 2. So 2 would present an idea with graphics to display it, and then that would be followed by the next 2. And it was a very thorough, very comprehensive sort of presentation. And of course, the kids were completely into it. So that was how it went. Every time I had a question about something that needed further answer, the next group was the one that was going to pick it up and respond. So actually, when it was all said and done, I asked them if they would schedule some time to do a demonstration of their presentation methods for our staff here, because I think we really could learn something from these kids. Needless to say, when it was all said and done, I at least had to pretend like I needed to think about it for a moment. But they had it from the start. And so yes, you'll be able to see their garden, which is going to be specifically a garden designed to attract birds and butterflies. And it'll be right outside the door. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of the kids doing their presentation. And also you'll be able to see the how it looks now. And you'll get an idea of the changes next time you come here. So the kids' garden, the bird garden, is going to go right here. Right now we have a wonderful piece of petrified wood that was donated by Warren Schultz. Right here is on the left-hand side is the door to the school, and on the right is the door to the building. It's going to be a beautiful place. So this is the presentation. They came and they had calendars of when the parents would be tending the garden during the summer. Each family was going to do it. They presented the points about how they're going to raise money through the sale of these little cards, the greeting cards they had made. Various sorts of things they were going to do. They're going to talk to the people at Home Depot about getting the plants. And each one came up in waves of 2 and gave their presentation. And at the end, I told them, well, is it okay if I think about it? So I'm thinking about it. And they're all tense at the moment. And of course, the answer is yes, with the expected result. A little later in the month, I had been invited to participate on a panel by a local chapter of the Institute of Noetic Sciences. Probably a bunch of you know about them, but they were co-founded by the astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who on his flight to the moon had a profound experience where he said that divinity actually was palpable to him. And at that point, he lost all confidence in this idea that there were just random sorts of events that created a universe, the universe that he was seeing from outer space. So when he came back, it was something that he made some changes in his world and started this institute, which focuses on integral health practices, expanded human capacities, and emerging worldviews. That's the main focus. This particular panel was one that was, they wanted to go into the idea of what does waking up mean in your tradition. So this panel had a rabbi, a New Thought minister, a representative of the ethical culture organization, Catholic layperson, a Buddhist body practitioner and therapist from the Shambhala tradition, and me. And the way the seats were positioned, I was the one who ended up speaking last, but not always a good position to be in, but it ended up being quite an enjoyable way of tying things together. But it was a fascinating group and a very dynamic group of people. It all came about as a result of this Green Heart program that I had attended, told you something about, back in November, where a couple of hundred people attended that. There were about 30 or 40 people that were at this event. But it was a very good group, and a lot of good connections were made, and so I think it's something that's been very, very worthwhile. So the program at the Institute of Noetic Sciences was held at the Ethical Humanist Society quarters, which are about a little less than an hour drive from here. They have a lovely building where they have regular meetings of their own group, and they lent it to the Noetic Science group. It was a panel of us, 6 of us from a variety of religious backgrounds, and then over on the right are the 2 moderators from IONS. So people gathered from all around the area to participate in the program and to share their thoughts. It was a beautiful program. They had a session where people drew up ideas and flowers in the center. All in all, very, very good. So near the end of the month, we had a very different sort of event which focused on our staff and volunteers. So many of you were here during this past summer when we had Dr. Roland McCready at our summer national convention. And he was here to tell us some things about the research that had been going on with the HeartMath Institute. They've been doing a lot of things with what they talk about as global coherence and with focusing on the coherence of the heart and the heart as one of the primary organs of cognition and one of the primary connections with higher consciousness. Even more so than the brain, is what their research has been showing. So anyway, we had his talk was so impressive that we had arranged with a local trainer for HeartMath Institute to come down and give a Thursday night public talk and then a Saturday workshop for the public. But on Friday, we also arranged for her to do a staff training in their methods, which relate to heart rate variability and the coherence of the heart. So it was a very productive afternoon. All of our staff, volunteers, were invited to attend. And so we had about 40 some odd people that came, that received the training. It's called resilience training. And it's something that they offer to schools, hospitals, educators, not-for-profits. So they do a lot of this around the country. And it's one of those things that makes us more effective in our workplace, in our relationships. Really, it's a lot like the sort of awareness training that many of us engage in, but with specific sorts of methods that relate to their practice. They also have a technology where there's a biofeedback instrument that can actually give the sort of readouts that state when you are actually in coherence. Not incoherent, but when you are in coherence. So that you can actually see yourself go from one particular state or frame of mind to another. And it's one of those things that's quite good for helping one to familiarize oneself with the feeling and the methods that are used in attaining these various sorts of states of coherence. So anyway, she came in the afternoon. Her name was Carrie Cameron. So the program was held in our auditorium on the third floor, and staff and volunteers gathered for the afternoon. It's a 4.5-hour program. And it was something that was titled The Resilience Advantage. And it related to heart coherence and heart rate variability, and the heart as an organ of cognition. So they had a lot of material, pretty dense material, but also very, very practical. So Carrie spent time talking about and demonstrating actually the technology that shows how the waves of the heart coherence are affected by our attitudes and the things we encounter during the course of the day. This being an example of the elevation in heart rate variability. It becomes incoherent. So she spent a long time with us during the day, and then we had groups that broke out to discuss the idea. And all in all, it was a day that I think the staff and I personally profited from quite a bit. So as I said, spring has finally shown some signs of arriving. So the other day, when we had a sunny day, I did what needed to be done. Took advantage of our wireless connection, sat outside, and gloried in our new spring arrival.